Hello and welcome to my podcast where we explore people and life. Today I have a Margaret Victor and she is a president of Waterloo Silver Tongue Toastmaster of Club. Welcome Margaret to being on my show.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, I'm so exciting recording with you. This is my first episode which I'm recording with Margaret. She is also my mentor and we are in same club in Toastmaster. Margaret, today our topic is why communication is so important. Yeah, you are the best person to ask questions. You have a great communication skill. What inspire you to join Toastmaster?
I was introduced to Toastmasters through my husband, who had joined a club after he retired, and I thought that uh, it was a good place to learn how to express yourself using the right words, adding body gestures and vocal variety to get your point across so the person who's listening to you doesn't get bored. I found by joining a club, I was able to learn those skills and the techniques to speak coherently, concisely, as well as uh, inspire the audience to perhaps think about their own communication style and how they express themselves so that people will understand and not be turned off by what they have to say.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's really great. How has it impacted your life so far?
I found in my jobs as executive assistants to be able to let the executive know that there's a better way that they could reach their subordinates or to organize a business meeting and have it run efficiently without uh, bringing other topics up to discussion which is not on the agenda, which is a time waster.
Yes.
My experience in Toastmasters has basically reinforced my innate skill of organization. I like to be organized. I like to be able to anticipate any hiccups or things that may not work as well. And I was able to bring this to the forefront when I worked with my VPs and the president
Mm-hmm.
to be able to express myself without feeling that I'm being a victim or that I'm insulting them. I was able to speak more professionally and conduct myself more as a professional. And I found they treated me differently when I was able to use these skills because then they valued my input and they valued my skills. So,
Yes.
uh, belonging to Toastmasters and participating in both the communication and the leadership side of the programs, I became more confident as a professional. And then I found out that even when I'm speaking with my children as they were growing up,
Yes.
instead of jumping on them to say, no, that's not right or that's wrong, you would approach them in a different way that they would listen to you and
Yes.
they felt that you were being constructive instead of being destructive or you were nagging or finding fault with them all the time. So it's a win-win situation, not just in the professional side of things, but also in the personal side of
Yes,
things. So
which I've seen you on the our club president. You're always organized, always like we forget something like print off our agendas. You say, here I go. Like you always like organized and well prepared person I've seen, and we're lucky to have you as a president.
thank you.
Why do you think communication essential for personal or professional life?
Well, you don't want to be a time waster. So when you are in business meetings, you want to say what you're going to say
Yeah.
it in a way that people will listen to you,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's your coworkers or other management, but they listen to you, they value what you're saying, and you're giving yourself um, um, credence, meaning you're an authority,
Yes.
that what you have to say or contribute to the
Yes.
team is spot on.
Yes.
And they will look at you as a member of the team, as well as a person who is dependable and loyal, participates, and they're thinking of the whole picture and not just of yourself. So
Yes.
uh, it's something that people either feel uncomfortable with at the beginning, or it's just something that they do naturally. And
Yes.
it's okay
Yes.
because it's a learned
It's a
technique.
learned skills. Like people don't realize like these are skills we should learn, like we need in our daily lives.
Yeah.
Challenges do people face in communicating effectively?
Well, first of all, you need to understand what it is that you're being asked to comment on.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not too sure, then that is the time to rephrase what you've heard and give it back to the person asking the question if you heard them correctly. And if there's anything that has to be changed, then you can do so. Sometimes it's that when we're asking questions, we think it's stupid,
Yes.
or you're not using the right words, or you're not expressing yourself.
Yes.
The first thing is just say it.
Yes.
And if the person doesn't understand clearly, then ask them if you expressed it correctly, rather than saying, "Do you understand?" Because that's an insult. I find that as an insult. When
Okay.
people say, "Do you understand?" I'm not stupid.
Yes.
What is it that you're asking me? So if you're not sure, just reword what you've heard
Okay.
and ask the person. If you ask me a question and I wasn't too sure, I would say, "Raj, this is what I heard. Is that correct?"
Okay.
And then you can say yes or no or elaborate more. And
Okay.
neither one of us are feeling uncomfortable, or we're not feeling an idiot.
Yes.
Understanding.
Yes.
The next thing, to speak effectively, to communicate effectively, is not assume that the person knows what it is that you're asking.
Yes.
Um, and this is where, when we're giving speeches, we need to think of the audience.
Yes.
And if your topic that you're presenting is above them, then you're going to have to uh, dumb it down, is what we say, meaning explain it using simpler sentences or concepts, explain the concepts so that the audience doesn't get lost or feel that this is above me, I don't understand, and they feel uncomfortable. You want the people who are listening to you to feel at ease, to feel comfortable,
Yes.
to be drawn into what it is that you're saying.
Yes.
You want to have a conversation with them, a
Yes.
friendly conversation with them. And so we need to make sure that what we're saying to our audience is easy to understand. Uh, you're not using words that is complex. Perhaps there are other words that you can use that means the same thing. Some people, when they get up and give speeches, they feel that they need to use these big words to let the audience know that they are, uh, people that have a great learning.
Yes.
And basically, what they've done is, if the audience is not of their peers,
Yes.
you've lost the audience because they
Yes.
won't understand what it is that you're saying.
Yes.
So, speak clearly, short sentences, pause, or come to a complete stop when you're saying, when you
Yes.
come to the end of a sentence.
Yes.
Take a breath at the end of the sentences, and that will, it's a tip. When we stop at a sentence and we take a breath, that prevents
Okay.
you from saying "and,"
And
or "so," or "but," or
okay.
that way, the audience will stay with your train of thought,
Mm-hmm.
and not get carried away by hearing these ums, ands, because I've caught myself doing it when a presenter is using all these filler words. I don't listen to the message that they're presenting. I start counting how many times they've used the word and. Oh, there's another one. That'll be number 10. There's another one, 11. And now you start anticipating when he's going to say the next filler word, and the message that they're giving is lost. And the information that they give may be of value,
Yes.
but they've weakened it because of all the filler words. So, and when you get nervous, you end up speaking a lot faster because you want to sit down as quickly as you can.
Yes, it is. It is true. Like while you're standing in front of people, you are scared. Like
Oh, exactly. You're
it's
uncomfortable.
not easy to do.
But you need to cut yourself some slack. You
Yes.
tell yourself, it's okay to feel butterflies. It's okay to be nervous.
Yes.
But if you have rehearsed your speech enough,
Yes.
you are familiar and comfortable with the information that you're going to give them,
Yes.
then the use of the filler words and the speaking quickly to get down will dissipate, and you'll be able to speak almost as if you're one-on-one, a
Yes.
gentle conversation, and people will stay with you, and they'll be amazed at what it is that when you come to the end of the speech, they'll say, whoa, 7 minutes is done.
Yes.
There's a lot of information in there, and they stayed with you.
Yes.
So it's, but you need to do it over and over again.
Over and over again.
Yeah.
Yes. It's
Yeah.
practice makes perfect.
Talk a lot.
Yeah, talk a lot.
Talk a lot.
I have been like putting off to participate in the table topic session because I was scared to stand up in front of everyone, and because I did not know the topic, because they're prompt to speaking, and you just know the topic when you're standing and participating. How do you like
Get used to doing
get
table
used?
topics.
Yeah, and not afraid.
When I first started doing table topics, my mind would completely go blank. They'd give you a question or they'd make a statement and they'd ask for your input, and I would just draw blank, and I'm just looking, and I say, I don't understand the question, and that's okay.
Yes.
If you don't understand the question, you can ask for another one, or you can ask the table topics master to explain it. It may be something from a culture that you're not familiar with,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And that's okay because you're not a walking encyclopedia,
Yes.
right? But through my research on presenting table topics as a educational piece, table topics, you rely on personal experiences.
Yeah.
So, have I done something that relates to this question?
Mm-hmm.
Do I know of somebody
Yes.
that relates to this question? Did I read about it?
Okay.
If not, then nobody says that table topics has to be the truth. So you can be creative.
Okay.
It's okay to be creative.
Okay.
What we are not trying, what we are doing is getting comfortable with speaking off the cuff
Oh yes.
in an unprepared speech.
Yes.
We call it an elevator speech. If you're in the elevator and someone comes on with you and you're having to go 10 floors up and it's quiet, they may ask you a question. What are you going to say? Sorry, I don't know you. I'm not going to talk to you. Or you could just say something that comes into your mind. It's a
Yes.
lovely day today. Whether it's always a good source, right? But sometimes if you've seen that person in the elevator before, you can, say, hey, are you working? Which floor do you work on? I've seen you so many times in the elevator, and kind of thing. You can kind of break the ice that way. But table topics is all about starting with an opening, coming up with a body, and then closing, which you do all the time when you're presenting speeches.
Yes.
It's just organizing those thoughts in your mind.
Yes, I have never start talking with the new person. It's always like a fear, kind of like how they react. What should I say? Like, say hello. That's it. My conversation is done there.
I've done that when I used to go to Christmas parties with my husband when he was working,
Okay.
and he knew all the guys that he worked with,
Yes.
but I didn't know the guys that he worked with. I didn't know their spouses or their partners. So here's like 24 people in a room, and you just go around and say, "Hi, I'm so and so," and I guess our husbands work together on the shift. How long have you been married, or do you have any kids, or do you work outside the home, kind of thing? Something that they could, an open-ended question rather than saying yes or no, because that basically stops the conversation,
Yes.
right? So learning to ask open-ended questions where the other person has to give you a sentence or two can start a conversation.
Then conversation roll up, and
Yeah.
we can continue
Yeah.
with that. One practical tip to improve communication.
Tip. Okay. Take a deep breath.
Okay.
Put a smile on your face.
Okay.
Okay. And in some cases, you repeat the question that you've asked.
Yes.
And then can you bring something personal into the answer? Um, it's just putting yourself out there and not and being confident enough that what you have to say um, is going to be of interest. And this is where it's a human nature for us to say, nobody wants to hear what I have to say.
Yes.
Right? Or I'm not a good enough speaker. They won't understand. And these are things that I've said to myself, right?
Okay.
I don't know that topic. I've got nothing of value to say or to contribute.
Okay.
And I found that when we were in the wine club, when we were having competitions, and you're standing around with other wine drinkers, sipping away, and they'll say, "Try this," and I will say, "Okay." And if I didn't like it, then I wouldn't drink it anymore. But they wouldn't ask me why.
Okay.
Right. So I would volunteer and say, "Oh, this is a different kind of wine. I haven't tasted something like this
Yeah.
before. What's unique about this?" And then ask them questions so they could answer back. But I've always been on the shy side
Yes.
to initiate a conversation
Yes.
unless I'm in a space that I'm familiar with, and I'm
Yes.
with people I'm familiar with.
Yes. Same as me. Like.
And it's comfort.
Yes.
It's comfort level.
Yes.
Some people, they just have that personality that, hey, there's a room full of neat people to get to know. I'm
Yes.
in there, and they're bouncing around from one person to the next and chit-chatting, and it's not them talking about themselves. They're actually asking questions about the people they're meeting,
Yes.
and if they're sincere, they're genuine, and those are the kind of people that you want to be around.
Yes.
You want to have a conversation with. But it's all about learning about yourself.
Yes.
What makes you feel comfortable?
Yes.
And yeah, what can I learn from this person I'm meeting?
Yes, because when I started Toastmaster, reason being I wanted to start my podcast, what I learned a lot is how much is like so much needs to learn about communication skill is so important, even daily lives. Toastmaster for me help me with the how to say things concisely
Concisely.
and short, which
Sure.
I've learned a lot from you as well.
Mhm.
Like you're a great speaker, and the way you how long you have been with Toastmaster? 16 years.
15 years. I
15
started
years.
my 16th year.
Yeah.
Um,
What most glued you in Toastmaster?
I have to say that for me, Toastmasters brought together my experience in the English language.
Yeah.
I remember in public school when I was in grade 4,
Mhm.
my teacher at that time was teaching us grammar.
Mhm.
And this is where we were talking about, we would be learning about prepositions and
Yes.
sentence structure
Yes.
and words that sound the same but are spelled differently and have different meanings and all of this. Then the use of commas and colons and semicolons, when to use those, or when it should be two separate sentences
Yeah.
instead of one. And then when I went into business college, we did letter writing.
Mhm.
And here we had to apply, um, they would give us paragraphs and we would have to edit the paragraphs where the sentences are, where this should be a paragraph. Uh, is this too long of a sentence? What's a better way of saying it? And you start applying these techniques, and it's when you can speak concisely, say what you're going to say, then your message comes out clearer and
Yes.
cleaner.
Yeah.
If the person needs more information, they will let you know.
Yes.
Um, I've heard some people go on and on and on about this one
Yes.
particular topic or sentence, and when they're finished that sentence, I'm saying to myself, what is it they just said?
They lost the essence of
You've lost what it is that they're trying to tell you. And then they then use the next sentence to say it again, only in a different way.
yeah.
If I was able to read it, I'd be able to go through and say, no, this big sentence can be said in like half the words.
Mhm.
And when you can do that, then you know when we're speaking
Mhm.
how to get your point across. It's easier then.
Yes.
Uh, and that's why I say, write your speech out, what you're going
Yes.
to say, look at it, and say, can I say this sentence using fewer words?
Yes.
Or can I use a different word in this sentence that better describes what it is that I'm doing? So the first thing is get your thoughts down on paper. Just
Yes.
get them down on paper. You don't have to start judging what you're saying or putting them in order. Just get the thoughts out of your mind and down on paper.
Yes.
Then you can see it, then you can hear it when
Yes.
you read it. Then you can look at it and say, can I say it in fewer words?
Yes.
Each sentence, can I say it in fewer words?
Yes.
Can I say it in more descriptive language? Not just a yellow ball or a yellow striped ball or a blue and red striped ball, uh, but can I add some texture to elaborate? Not too much, but so that the person can actually picture it in their mind what it is that you're telling them.
Mhm.
And they're staying with you.
Yes.
So each of your conversations that you have is like a story,
Yes.
whether it's about you or an experience or a trip that you've had or something that you've learned or
Yeah.
something that you saw, but it's a story.
Yes.
And you want the story to be interesting and you want it to be easily understood.
Yeah.
And it all takes practice. You need to do it to learn
Yes.
it. You do
Yes.
it.
Is so much to learn. Is like incredible. Like while people are speaking in there, like last week's speaker, he was amazing. Like is good while he giving speech.
31 years,
Yeah,
yes.
31 year with toastmasters. That's really amazing.
And the beauty of it is you don't have a timeline
Yes.
to learn all the techniques and the tips.
Yes.
The important thing to remember is that when you've learned a technique,
Yes.
when can you apply it?
Yes.
And you'd be surprised that when you do apply a technique and it works,
Yes.
how do you feel afterwards?
Yes.
You feel great.
Yes.
It worked. I
Yes.
sounded good,
Yes.
you know? And so you keep applying that technique or learn another one,
Yes.
but it
Uh,
takes time.
Before I did not know like about communication and these kind of stuff, and since I joined Toastmaster, and I've watching more videos on YouTube and other platforms
Mhm.
as well. Like people, few in the world, very few people who are born with these kind of skills,
That's right.
the communication skill. The
That's right.
others who are successful in here, they learned,
Yeah.
and it's amazing, like and we're glad and
Well, those Toastmasters,
yes,
we've all started at the same level.
yes,
We've all started at the same spot. And those who have pursued
yes,
their education and leadership skills, and they've tested them, they've stepped outside their comfort zone
yes,
and competed in speech contests, or they've been keynote speakers,
yes,
they're taking those skills that they've learned and they keep applying them. And they keep massaging them, getting better and better.
mm-hmm.
And when they get to the international speech contest and they are competing worldwide,
Mm-hmm.
you think to yourself, well, what else is there for them to learn? Like they've they've got all, they've worked through all the paths, right? The
Yes,
educational programs, and they've been keynote speakers, they've led training workshops.
yeah,
Like, what more is there for them to do? Well, some of those people who have competed in the international contest have gone on and taken the professional speaking course
okay,
so that now they hire themselves out as
yes,
motivational
oh
speakers,
yes,
as educators, as instructors, as facilitators. They now are taking the skill that they've worked and massaged and honed and their
yes,
experiences that they've had, and now they're still sharing it with others. But now they're getting paid for it.
yes, and a
So,
lot.
yeah, so that's wonderful. Toastmasters is not at the end of 10 years or at the end of 20 years you're done Toastmasters.
Mm,
There's nothing else for you to do, but there is.
yes,
You've invested a lot of time and effort and
yes,
money
yes,
in developing your skills
yes,
and your confidence and your knowledge base.
yes,
Why not pursue that avenue of being able to help others, but as a paid instructor,
yes, yeah,
or even as a teacher
yes,
in some English program
yes,
or college program?
yes,
There's the world is yours. It's
yes,
just you've taken the time to invest all the skills and learning and ups and downs and heartaches to better yourself. And what better way?
what
Yeah.
would you suggest, like me, like who speaks English language like my second language?
Yeah.
So, what would you suggest? Like, should I pay more attention to improve my skill faster, or I should stay in the same pace?
Some people are keeners. They're
Yes,
really eager.
yes,
Perhaps they do have an agenda, like in 10 years or
yeah.
in 1 year, I want to be able to do this.
Okay,
Um, if that's how they learn, is under that kind of stress, who's to say it's the right or the wrong way?
yes,
But I personally, I want to enjoy my learning curve.
yes,
I want to enjoy the time
yes,
that I'm devoting to myself to learn about uh, the art of communication and
yes,
leadership, and to give myself time to apply.
yes,
I think if I was forced or I had a deadline,
mm-hmm.
I would start to panic and I'd become critical of myself and I'd lose the enjoyment of
Yes,
coming to Toastmasters, listening to others.
yes,
Like there are times too that I can't help but get a thought in my head saying, "This is frustrating. I just wish this person would do whatever."
mm,
And then I'd have to stop myself and say, "Margaret, they're on a different learning curve
Yes.
than you are.
Yes.
So be appreciative of the fact that they are up there
Yes.
doing their best
Yes. It
at
is
the
true.
time at this point in time.
Yes.
They will improve.
Yes.
So it's just offering that encouragement and not the judgment.
Yes.
And it's the same goes for yourself. Like uh, you want to enjoy your learning.
Yes.
You want to participate as often as you can.
Yeah.
Because, like I've said before, it's when we participate and actively participate that those skills, you're applying those skills each time you do this, rather than sitting at the table and thinking about them, right?
Yes.
When you actually are using them, that's when it becomes more of a skill that you feel comfortable using and you don't have to think about. Um, but have fun, enjoy the time, enjoy the learning, and push yourself outside your comfort zone.
Okay.
Not all the time. If that's what you want all the time, fine.
Yes.
When an opportunity comes and you feel, oh, I don't know, I don't think I'm good enough, that's the time to do it.
Okay.
That's the time to do it.
Okay.
We all start somewhere not
Yes.
knowing.
Yes.
And it's not until we actually do the unknown
Yes.
that we say, well, that wasn't so bad.
Yes.
Or if I were going to do this again, I do it this way. But
Yes.
you wouldn't have that information if you didn't do it,
Yes.
right? So step outside your comfort zone. Try something new.
Yes.
And make it adaptable to what you are capable of doing. And you'd be surprised how much you learn about yourself.
Yes.
That hey, I'm okay with this,
Yes.
That wasn't so bad.
Yes.
Because we all have off days.
Oh, that's true.
We all have off days, and
Yes.
it's usually those are the days that I'll be quietly sitting in the audience and not doing anything because
Yes.
I'm just here for everybody's support,
Yes.
to support everybody. But right now I've got too much on my plate, or I'm too quiet, or I'm just having an off day, and I'd rather just be here with this positive energy and watch other people perform.
Yes.
Yeah.
Toastmaster, I really like about they encourage people to do stuff, and when they're speaking, even though they are nervous or afraid front of people, everyone sports, and after speeches, our all speeches like evaluate end of the day, so also is a evaluation coming from people who just heard you 5 minutes ago. It is great what where I have been like lack, and what mistake I have done. So it's really good part in Toastmaster.
Yeah.
I really like the evaluation part.
The evaluation
So
is critical, I think, not just in Toastmasters, but even in the workforce,
yes.
or if you're part of a community group, to get feedback on when you've
Yes.
done anything.
Yes.
You look for that feedback
Yes.
to say, okay, this I did right, this I was kind of weak on, I can strengthen this.
Yes.
Or maybe this is an opportunity that I can do again next time,
Yes.
right? And it's just uh, discovering more and more about yourself, and I think that's beautiful.
Yes.
It gets us out of a rut,
Yes.
and sometimes um, we are more critical of ourselves than others are of us, and sometimes we need to hear that, yeah, you did okay there, and you are criticizing yourself, saying, oh, I shouldn't have done that. But these people that give you the feedback, they were okay with that,
Yes.
right? So cut yourself some slack. You've done it. Congratulate yourself. And now you know what, when you do it next time, when you give a speech next time, think more about doing it this way, or bringing in this little helpful hint.
What's the first step someone can take to become a better communicator? the first step is always is harder to come toastmaster and any other platform as well, like people can go, but what?
It's getting started.
Yes,
It's just showing up.
showing up.
If you join Toastmasters for a reason, what's the reason?
Behind, okay, why
Right.
you want to learn?
Why why did you join Toastmasters? I want to become a better communicator, everybody says, or I want to speak in front of I want to do public speaking or feel comfortable speaking in front of a group of
Yes.
people. Well, first of all, a group of people could be 3 people, it could be 10 people, it could be 25, it could be 500 people.
It would matter, like when we are.
It shouldn't matter
Okay.
because you start with a small group
Okay.
in your club
Mm-hmm.
and you are learning the skills. You are giving yourself permission to make mistakes. You're giving yourself permission to learn from those mistakes. And you're giving yourself permission to have fun along the way.
Yes.
You remind yourselves that these people are not here to judge you
Mm-hmm.
because they've been in your shoes before. So they are coming to you with experience.
Yes.
They know what works or they've seen what works and they've seen what doesn't work.
Okay.
They're not being critical of you. They want to see you do better. And if you don't know what you're doing wrong, then how can you do it better? You don't know what you don't know until
Yes.
someone tells you
Yes.
or shows it out. So accept the evaluation tips graciously
Yes.
and consider the source. All right,
Yeah.
because sometimes you're getting evaluation from new members that they're not tuned into what they should be looking for, whether you're standing nice and tall, you're breathing, you're speaking too fast, too slow, you're not looking up at the audience, you're doing a lot of ums and ahs and ands and so forth. They're not trained yet to look for these weaknesses or things that can be improved upon. So evaluations is key to accept them graciously and to see the value behind those evaluations. The next step is to take that information and use it.
Yes.
Improve yourself
Yes.
on your next speech. Okay. Don't worry about your topic. Make sure it's a topic that you feel comfortable talking about um, or expressing. Um, don't worry about what the audience, if the audience is going to like it or not. That's up to you.
Okay.
In your presentation, in your delivery style,
Mm-hmm.
to grab the audience's attention and keep their attention with you all through your speech. So somebody could be talking about building the atom bomb, you know, like they could get real technical. Is that going
Yes.
to be are they going to lose the audience's attention or are they going to keep it? If it gets too technical, then I'd have to say, what's the audience? Are they coming from that same technical background of building a bomb, or are they just the average person?
Study your audience first.
Yeah. So
Okay.
know your audience.
Know your
Yeah.
audience. Okay.
So when you're going into a room to give a speech, know who your people are.
Yes.
Uh, because then you want them to look at you as a knowledgeable and
Yes.
credible
Yes.
speaker.
Yes.
If you're using words that you know the audience is not going to understand,
Yes.
then you're going to have to change your language
Yes. If you're
to make it
using
simpler.
complicated words, people would not understand. Like, what would you saying?
Well, exactly. If you're talking about some engineering development or some gizmo that was just created,
Yes.
if your audience is not full of engineers
Yes.
or have a university degree in engineering,
Yes.
then are they going to follow along with you? you probably will lose them right after the introduction.
Yes.
Unless, of course, it was announced to the audience at the very beginning. And this would be in a Toastmasters Club
Yes.
scenario.
Yes.
If you were giving a technical speech
Yes.
at work
Okay.
and you wanted to test it out on the club
Okay.
and ask the club to give you what you did well, what needs improving, what they liked about it, then you can change it slightly so that when you go to work and you give your presentation, it would be a lot better than you thought it was,
Yes.
because your audience would be of like-minded individuals who knew what you're talking about.
Yes,
Right?
definitely. Yeah.
But if that's the case, you have to let your club know that it's going to be a technical
Yes.
presentation, not to worry about the information, but my delivery style,
Yes.
my vocal variety, my pace, my stance, looking at the audience.
Yes.
Do I sound passionate? Do I sound knowledgeable? Did I have an opening, a body, and a closing? These are things are all structures, right?
Yes.
The structure of your speech, not so much the content, but the delivery of it, right?
Yes.
So
Any and the end any advice for those who are really nervous front of people, like,
if a person is really nervous about speaking,
yeah.
um, then I I would suggest they take a role. Okay, for instance, at your work, you're in a meeting, a staff meeting. Perhaps they need somebody to take notes
Mm-hmm.
or or minutes or whatever of the meeting. Offer to do that. The reason why I'm saying that is because if someone's up there talking about and you're writing it down, then if you're not too sure you've captured it, then you'd have to say to them, I'm not sure, Joe, if I got the information down correctly. Could I just tell you what I wrote down, what I heard? Then you can read it back to them. And they can say yes or no, or yeah, that sounds about right. Okay. And you say thank you. Right. In Toastmasters Club, I would suggest you to take on a role. As you know, when the meeting chair always recognizes the
Yes.
members of the leadership team for the
Yeah.
meeting. And for the benefit of guests, we always have each person's role explained.
Yes.
So
So you have
you're
more.
up there, you have a script that you read,
Yes.
you're in front of an audience, and you say, tonight I'm your timer. My role is responsible for da 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 da. These are the timing cards that will be used in table topics and prepared speeches and evaluations. And it's a script that is used every meeting. But it gives a shy person something to read from, and it gets them up in front of an audience to read. And each time you do a role, it doesn't have to be one of the advanced roles, but a timer, a grammarian, a quiz master, those are all junior roles, if you want to call it that,
Yeah.
but beginner roles. There's not a lot of planning involved
Yes.
or preparation involved, but it does require some knowledge of what the responsibilities are.
Yes.
You read the script and you do those roles, and eventually you'll start to feel comfortable coming up to the front of the meeting and letting the audience know what it is that you're doing. And then you sit down. At the end of the meeting, you're back up again, giving them your report, and then you sit down.
Yeah.
And this is a nice way, an easy way of getting in front of the audience and talking. I also suggest that they do table topics.
Table. Like when you stand up in the table topics, sometime when I heard the question, soon I heard a person the question, I lost. It is normal or not? I don't know which word I should use and how I give that answer. That it's normal or like I'm afraid of that session a lot. I don't.
Well, I know I've seen it at competition when in table topics contests.
Yes.
Um, it's almost when the contestant is shown what the table topics message is. They have from the time they read it to walk up to the stage to start formulating what it is that they're going to mention.
Mm-hmm.
And usually they'll repeat
Okay.
the question or the statement
Okay.
just to give them time and then they can formulate.
Mm-hmm.
And how does that statement resonate with me is what the how does that affect me, that statement?
Yes.
And that sometimes will lead into why it makes you feel that way. And maybe there was an experience you can share
Yes.
to reinforce that.
Yes.
And then you can elaborate a little bit more about that. It suggests that you fall back on a personal experience.
Mm.
How do you feel when what do you think about when you read a sentence, or how do you feel about this, or why does this upset you, kind of thing. And uh, the one contest I watched, the word was roundabout.
Mm-hmm.
Right, just one word,
One word.
roundabout.
Okay.
And we had just started building roundabouts here in Kitchener-Waterloo,
Okay.
right? And I thought, okay, I know what roundabouts are.
Yes.
And I thought, wow, what could they possibly say about roundabouts? Well, every speaker went up there and expressed their ideas
Idea.
about roundabouts and
Okay.
how challenging they are, and it's something so new to the Canadian way of
Yes.
life,
Yes.
and scary to get in one of those things, and how do I get out of these things?
Yes.
And so they started sharing these
Okay.
thoughts as part of their table
Experience.
topics speech, and then expressed whether they liked them or not and why and whatever. But yeah, like I said before, your mind can go blank at the question,
Yeah.
and if you don't know, you ask for another one.
Oh, yes.
You ask for another one,
Yeah, that's the luxury of the Toastmaster.
and that's
Thank you very much, Margaret, to being on my show and sharing your thoughts. And I hope I be one day like you.
you will
Great
be
speaker.
confident. You will be confident. You will be
As you like,
comfortable. Yeah.
because I've seen you on the podium, always you're confident and saying something like with conviction and very concise and short. I want to learn those skills to put into my podcast and my speeches. I hope I would do
You
one day.
will. You are on the right track, Raj, and you will have that gift.
And thank you very much being on my show today.